Welcome to another episode of Sports Perspective. I'm Hayden Grove.
And I'm Franz Ross. Well, Hayden, the time has come. We've reached the last full-length episode of this semester.
It's crazy to think about, Franz, but we've seen a lot of things happen this semester, including the emergence of redshirt freshman quarterback J.T. Barrett, who made his way into the record books this past weekend in Minnesota.
The snow came early and stayed throughout, but the cold temperatures were not enough to keep J.T. Barrett and the Buckeyes from securing their second straight Big Ten Top 25 victory right here today at TCF Bank Stadium against the Minnesota Golden Gophers by a final score of 31-24.
Well, tough environment. First time I've ever been here. I don't want to see this on the schedule for a while. Certainly not November. But a great team win. Once again, I didn't say great execution all the time, but really in that kind of environment, not bad.
With temperatures hovering around the 20-degree mark until kickoff, the Buckeyes got out to an early 14-0 lead against Minnesota thanks to two big plays, including J.T. Barrett's 86-yard scamper to open the scoring, which was also the longest run from a quarterback in Ohio State history.
Think about that for a minute. J.T. Barrett took one, how far? Yeah, 86. J.T. Barrett took one 86 yards. Pretty good for a guy that runs a 5.40.
And see this cornerback, so I just cut it back and then I was like, oh, there's no grass out here. So then I see like people right here, so I'm looking back and I'm like, I better take it another way, otherwise I'm gonna get him. So that was about it.
That touchdown wasn't the only record Barrett would break on the day either. With 195 yards and a touchdown on the ground and 3 more touchdowns through the air, Barrett became the single-season touchdown leader in the history of Ohio State, prompting some strong reactions from his coaches.
Bro, whoa.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Wow. Because we had a guy here for 2 years that could run the ball really good. So.
Wow.
What does that say about his?
Well, I think you can tell the kind of trust we have in him. That in that kind of environment, you have to really handpick who's going to touch the ball. And we have a lot of confidence in Zeke, and we got a lot of confidence in JT, and that, these kind of conditions where the ball's it's like a rock when it gets that cold. And so we have a lot of confidence in him. Like I said earlier in the season, we had no idea who he was. I had no idea that this is what JT Barrett is. A very clear picture of who he is now.
Barrett's big day wasn't enough to keep the Buckeyes comfortable, however, as 3 Ohio State turnovers paved the way for 21 Golden Gopher points.
You can't take those turnovers away, and they are what they are, and that's what made the game close. And but I was proud of our guys to continue to battle back and continue to make plays.
On 2 of those turnovers, freshman H-back Jalen Marshall was the culprit, but with his age, don't expect the Buckeyes to turn away from him anytime soon.
As a young player, as a freshman, that we can't do that. So, we're different than a lot of people. I don't just yank guys out of the game, and if I see someone not going hard, then that's a different story. Obviously, it's got to stop, or eventually it just loses playing time. But Dontre's out, and so we got to have him be more productive, and we're going to come right back to him. That's what good teams do. They pick each other up.
Yeah, we're gonna hug him up. We're gonna hug him up. He's a young guy, but he's still our teammate. We love him. Obviously, he can do a lot of things for us. We got him. He's gonna be good. He's gonna be fine.
On the defensive side of the ball, the Buckeyes were tough to beat as they allowed just 303 yards and intercepted 2 passes to keep the Golden Gophers at bay. But even then, some of the defensive players weren't happy to let Minnesota running back David Cobb rush for 145 yards and 3 touchdowns on the afternoon.
Yeah, especially at the first half. Mike Bennett, took it very personal and said some words I'm not going to say right now. But second half, we did a better job stopping the run.
With the Buckeyes inching closer to the top 4 of the college football playoff standings following the 7-point win against number 25 Minnesota, Meyer had a challenge for the rest of America.
Challenge any team in the country wants to go and schedule this one in November, whatever it is, and against a very good team, have at it. That's our message.
Well, this will be it for the road games for Ohio State in 2014 as they head home for 2 more against Indiana and Michigan before a possible Big Ten championship game appearance. Until then, for the Lantern TV, I'm Hayden Grove.
After taking some time to thaw out following the frigid afternoon in Minneapolis, I headed to the Woody Hayes Athletic Center on Monday to hear from head coach Urban Meyer on what the win means and what lies ahead with 2 home games remaining on the schedule and a Big Ten championship berth on the line.
1 win against the 3-7 Indiana Hoosiers. That's all the Buckeyes need to clinch their 2nd straight appearance in the Big Ten championship game. And while that seems as if it may be an easy task with Indiana struggling for most of this year, the Buckeyes have one singular focus on what's directly in front of them.
It's a Big Ten football team, and if someone slips up,
So you can't do that. You got to focus on what's important now, which is Indiana and beating Indiana.
We can't get complacent as a team. You know, we can't overlook anybody because, like I said, at any day and time, anybody can be beaten. So we have to just stick together and just keep focusing and keep getting better each and every week.
Following back-to-back wins on the road against top 25 Big Ten opponents, the Buckeyes return home to Columbus with a better sense of who they are as a football team. And Urban Meyer seems to think he knows what JT Barrett is after a record-setting performance against the Golden Gophers.
I don't know if my endorsement matters, but I do statistically. Been fortunate to coach some guys who've been to New York, and he's a Heisman candidate.
While the takeaways from Minnesota were mostly positive, some of the players and coaches seemed a bit irked at the backlash from Ohio State fans against freshman H-back Jalen Marshall, whose fumbles on Sunday allowed Minnesota to keep the game close.
It's more a young kid that then has to face the social media backlash and the hypothetical fans that want to say just absolutely derogatory things on a 19-year-old. That's the stuff that's hard for him to overcome, I think. But he's been great. I mean, he's had a great mentality. He had a great practice on Sunday, so I think he's going to be fine.
You know, you think about, okay, he dropped a couple punts, or you might have fumbled the ball twice, but 2 weeks ago everybody loved him because he was scoring. Like, that's not cool to me. I mean, just to be honest.
Some of that stuff, especially coming from like Ohio State fans, like that's unacceptable. Like, put yourself in his shoes and be out there in the cold trying, perform at this level. Like, it's not easy. People think it's like easy. Like, no, we work our tails off to try and be good at what we do. And people say that stuff like, get out of here, man. Like, what are you talking about?
Meyer doesn't seem to think, however, that taking Marshall away from the ball will be beneficial.
Jalen had a tough game, but we haven't lost confidence in Jalen. We don't do that here. If you don't play hard, that's a whole different animal. But if you play hard, make mistakes, you just got to fix it. And he's going to, work on a lot of things this week to get himself better.
Looking ahead to Saturday, the Indiana Hoosiers and running back Tevin Coleman will head to Columbus. But despite the incredible numbers on the ground for the junior, Meyer and the Buckeyes seem confident in their ability to limit his effectiveness.
We're facing one of the best rush teams, certainly in the Big Ten, and we're just I think we're comfortable with the style of defense we're playing to go play Indiana and stop that limit that run offense.
Is there a goal for the defense?
Less than 100.
Less than 100?
That's each and every week. You know, I get mad if it's over 100.
With another Big Ten championship appearance so close, Smith and Meyer seem to believe that the coming weeks will be the culmination of everything the team has worked for since August.
Oh, but that's why we wake up in the morning and brush our teeth and do what we do. I mean, that's been the ultimate goal, the number one goal. The thing we had to do was get back there and win a championship for this university.
We wake up every day to compete for championships in November. It's at the doorstep now. They've done a good job getting us there. And if you would have told us after week 2 that this would all start to materialize, I think we just keep doing what we're doing, and that's get better each week. We are lights out, much better football team than we were at the beginning of the season.
As for Ohio State's college football playoff chances, Meyer doesn't seem to know much.
I just don't know. I'd make the comment that we're 1 win away from representing the East in the Big Ten championship game, because I do know that.
The Buckeyes will learn of their latest college football playoff ranking on Tuesday night before they take on Indiana at noon on Saturday from Ohio Stadium. Until then, for Lantern TV, I'm Hayden Grove.
Before the Buckeyes earned their second straight Big Ten road win against the Golden Gophers, the Ohio State men's basketball team officially opened their season with a 92-55 victory against UMass Lowell on Friday night at the Schottenstein Center. While the Buckeyes clearly overmatched their opponent, one of the key storylines in the early season has been freshman D'Angelo Russell, who led the Buckeyes in scoring, rebounds, and assists in their exhibition against Walsh and scored 16 points on Friday to lead the Buckeyes once again. For our other Buckeyes, including Anthony Lee, Cam Williams, Sam Thompson, and Mark Loving, scored in double figures, while Shannon Scott dished out 11 assists. After the game, Russell reflected on the 5 Ohio State players who finished the game with at least 10 points.
Like Sam said, it's 5 guys that happen to get in there. It could be any 5 guys. We got a good group of guys that can fill it up any night. So. He said, just happened to be at 5 tonight, and with the newcomers, I don't think anybody was nervous that we're past that stage. So it's just stepping up and getting the job done.
At 1-0 on the year, Ohio State will next play the Marquette Golden Eagles on Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m.
In other basketball news, it was announced on Monday night that Columbus and Ohio State will host the 2018 Women's Final Four tournament. 7 other cities were vying for a chance to host a Women's Final Four from 2017 through 2020, and Columbus was one of 4 cities, including Tampa, Dallas, and New Orleans, that was selected to host the prestigious tournament.
This weekend in Columbus will be marked by Big Ten battles for the Buckeyes. Starting on Friday, the women's volleyball team will take on the Wisconsin Badgers at 7 o'clock. The men's hockey team will face the Michigan State Spartans, also at 7. Women's hockey will go to Grand Forks, North Dakota to take on the University of North Dakota at 8:07. On Saturday, of course, the football team takes on the Indiana Hoosiers at noon from Ohio Stadium, while the men's and women's swimming team host the Ohio State Invitational, and women's hockey completes their 2-game set with North Dakota at 5 o'clock. And on Sunday, women's basketball hosts VCU at 2, men's basketball faces Sacred Heart at 7, and wrestling heads to Blacksburg, Virginia to take on the Virginia Tech Hokies.
Well, Franz, that is it. That is the last full-length sports perspective for this fall semester. Unbelievable, man.
Yep, 3 months has gone by real fast, but believe me, Lantern TV, we're still going to have a lot of content for at least almost the next month. Especially tomorrow is the Lantern TV live news magazine, Buckeye Interior, 7 o'clock Wednesday. It's going to be on the Lantern TV YouTube channel, so definitely be sure to watch that.
Yes, and I think that there was something else that we won't get to talk about with the viewers because the next month it'll be gone.
Yeah, so I challenged you to Movember. What was it, three weeks ago? And the results are in.
It's not pretty. It's really not. You can't see anything here. It's bad. I mean, I did it. I will continue to do it.
You tried, and that's all that counts.
I did try, and I will continue to try for the next couple weeks, but it did not turn out the way I wanted it to. But that's all right. Just to reiterate, our semesterly live show special, Buckeye Interior, will be airing tomorrow night on our Lantern TV YouTube channel at 7. And also, Chalk Talk will be putting out a shortened episode this week for the rest of your Ohio State athletics coverage. For Franz Ross, Aaron Yerian, and the entire crew here at the Lantern TV, I'm Hayden Grove.